The character of this film is Jake, a citizen of the Pandora planet. He enjoys spending time with his wife and kids as well as the rest of his family. He claims that in addition to my biological children, I have also adopted 2 kids. One of them is the child of my former companion, who died shortly after giving birth to her, and the other is a human child. Because humans first arrived on this planet a few years ago, where I currently reside, they left this boy behind when they returned to Earth, and he has been with me ever since. All of these kids play together a lot and look out for one another. Jake teaches all of his kids everything, including arrow firing, fish catching, and many other activities. All of them, whether older or younger, are content, but Jake and his wife one night notice a bright white star in the sky. As it draws near, he realizes that it is a human spacecraft that is returning to dwell in their stunning planet. A fire is started in the jungle as a result of the fire emanating from the human spaceship, killing many animals and causing extensive damage. Humans emerge from it, sitting inside the massive robots and driving massive vehicles capable of destroying all in their path. While Jake and his wife are reduced to sobbing after seeing this damage. When will humans become humans? I don't know. Anyway, the lab is now shown, where a blue-colored man that resembled Jake and his family loses control and begins murdering others nearby. You are our colonel, and you are a human, he is told when you are in control of him. With the aid of contemporary technology, we have provided you with a body that will enable you to continue living on this planet after your death. You should not be concerned because you will resemble the inhabitants of this planet. Similar to that, many people receive such a body, as evidenced by the individuals gathered around the colonel. The opposite is true for Jake and his. In order to stop the humans from getting to their weapons and food, companions derailed their train. These people destroyed the human helicopters while they were on the flying animals themselves, and then they stole their belongings. Jake, the captain of the shipwrecked people, will be killed by the colonel when he learns of this impending loss. In essence, Jake and those who resemble him are referred to as the shipwrecked people. All of these jungle dwellers are the ones that attacked the train, but the colonel's senior officer informs him that every time we sent a ship into Jake's forest, the flying creatures there would invariably destroy it. You are our ray of hope because you are capable. The colonel then moves. Jake's kids were playing in the jungle when he entered it with several of his friends. They alert their father when they sense people approaching them, but the humans also manage to grab them. Soon, Jake's wife arrives and dispatches a human being with an arrow through the head. They start fighting each other. The wife of Jake saves her other children, but the colonel rescues his son, a human-shaped child he had previously adopted, and takes him with him. When Jake's wife heard that we would have to leave the bush, she became concerned for her child. Because I was the one who killed the first humans who arrived here, I am the one in charge here, and the colonel is behind me. Colonel. He now wants to kill me since he has returned alive in an avatar or blue body. Our family will be able to save the lives of the rest of our tribe if we all depart together. Because when our kidnapped child tells us where we are and where we live, humans will arrive. Although Jake's wife initially objects, she eventually accepts. On the other hand, Jake's child is being tortured by humans who are also requesting his home address, but the brave man chooses to remain silent. Sometimes the colonel stops him and tells him that since he is a human, we should speak to him in human terms. He offers him a hand of kindness and claims that I am your biological father and that I left you here on purpose when I last entered the earth because I did not want to bring you with me. But now I have a gut feeling, and I'm going to bring you along. That little boy nods in agreement and says, "Okay, let me show you the place." However, Jake and his family decide to abandon their tribe, ride on their flying creatures, and depart from this area. That they would at least be given a new home where they can reside. These people encounter the Navi people who live close to the water. The inhabitants of this place are from this planet, however they appear green. They are mocked by the water novice. Starting point. They claim that their arms, tail, and many other body parts are thin. Sometimes the water people's chief shows up and claims that you are a jungle dweller. You don't have to hang around the water. You don't know how to survive in the sea, but Jake responds that we will learn everything very soon. In the meantime, I need your help to get my family here safely, so please help. The Water Navy leader sees it and concurs, as well as allowing them to survive. The kids who live there are showing the youngsters of Jake about the following day, while Jake's son links a creature there with his hair so that he soon floats in the water. He falls as a result, and everyone there starts to laugh. The kids there start calling Jake's daughter crazy the next day, and they also treat her badly and bother her a lot. Then, the other kids from Jake show up and begin hitting that annoying kid. Why did you tell our sister this? But when Jake learns the truth, he begins verbally attacking his own son. What made you strike him? He is the leader's son in this group. Send an apology his way. The leader's son was still angry and wanted to betray him when he went to apologies. He desired to exact justice. He promises to take you to a suitable location and leads him into a deep body of water where a fearsome monster formerly resided. When he returns from leaving him alone, a monster emerges from the river and attacks him, causing him to begin drowning. He's being attacked and attempted to be eaten repeatedly by the creature. They are both in front of one another. When the largest monster arrives, it places the smaller one in its mouth, strikes it hard against the stone, and kills it there. Meanwhile, Jake's son drowns after becoming unable to breathe underwater. His eyes open to the sight of him resting on top of the largest aquatic monster, which has just saved his life. The youngster notices that the monster has numerous wounds as well. As a result, the monster drops the youngster and his family once he removes certain weapons from his body and establishes peace with him. When the Na'vi, the head of the Green tribe, learns that his own son left our guest near the monster on purpose, he becomes furious. He begins to discipline him, but Jake's son interrupts and claims that your son is not at fault. Going into the deep water was my idea. I merely suggested that we visit. The leader's son, who witnessed this, is embarrassed because he protected me while I acted improperly and intended to kill him. As a result of what he observes, he now gains his heart's affection. The big monster saved my life, everyone. No one believes him as all of his buddies begin to make fun of him. He returns to the same large monster the following day and has a great time. They participate in a lot of play together. While continuing seeking for Jake, the Colonel receives information of a possible destination for Jake and his family, though it was not yet specific. He needed to look for more because of this. Additionally, the Colonel had seized control of several of the local flying species. They were utilized by the native Na'vi people. The search for Jake leads everyone to an island, where locals claim they have never seen the person whose photo you are displaying. Colonel ponders. He kills a member of this group to prove that everything is a lie. He is told by the Colonel's son. They should be ignored because these individuals know nothing and simply catch fish. They are completely ignorant. Although the Colonel concurs with his son, the evil man nonetheless sets their home on fire as he leaves. He then moves on to other locations and begins killing other innocent Na'vi people. He asks several questions, but by this point he is unsure about Jake's whereabouts. They all perceive a water creature in the same way. They use a tiny arsenal of missiles and an iron chain to assault it. In addition to this, they also engage it in ultrasonic weapon. Because of this, humans can easily capture the monster and it cannot harm them. That pitiful creature, which has never hurt anyone but is floating with his young child, was in pain before dying there. While humans were happily cheering with great guilt, its tiny infant was roaming around and calling out to it that his mission was accomplished. The Colonel's kid is in great anguish as he observes all of this, since he was concerned about all of the animals and was in no way prepared to tolerate this impending atrocity. That creature is captured by humans, who take it with them. They enter his mouth and use a drill to create a hole at the top of his mouth. A drill machine. Whoever drinks this water will experience a very gradual growth in age. It emits a yellow liquid. In other words, he will live a long time and not pass away quickly. The cost of this liquid is likewise measured in crores of dollars, which he plans to sell in the market and profit handsomely from. The Na'vi people witnessed the dying monster creature the following day, at which point they began criticizing Jake. "You brought people here, and now they are killing our animals, and very soon we will too. So whatever occurred, occurred. According to the Green Na'vi leader, we shall compete with people." After some time, Jake's son returns to the largest monster and discovers that it has a device resembling an anchor on it. The monster had been stopped there by the device as a result, and it was unable to advance further. Because people want more monsters to be killed so they can acquire that liquid, and this time it's Jake's son's big monster who is also quite big in size. This is also capable of leaking a lot of liquid. Now, people are attempting to slay this monster for that reason. While humans are heading in this route, he is also accompanied by the son and the others. The colonel can also somewhat make out these kids. When the commander and Jake learn that their kids are in danger, they prepare their weapons before departing to protect them. The kids struggle a lot to get the gadget off the enormous monster. As a result, the monster flies ahead and disappears, saving its life in the process, while humans are still pursuing the kids while firing. Here, as the leader's daughter is ready to perish, Jake's son grabs her hand, turns to face him, and saves her life. However, after a little while, he deploys a large net to catch the children and carries them aboard his ship. For a while, the parents of the kids also arrive here, which is Jake, who stops and discovers that the colonel has tied his kids up in front of the ship. If, as the colonel claims, "Come alone on the ship if you want to save the children's lives." As a result, Jake decides to travel alone for the benefit of everyone. Because of this, the largest creature friend of Jake's son emerges from the sea, boards their ship, and begins killing the onlookers with its hands and a stick. When Jake and the leader's followers saw that it was destroying everything, they decided to attack people as well. After that, they all started moving toward the ship. The Na'vi people and the humans frequently engage in combat. Along with some Na'vi people, several other humans are also slain. They are put to death by the water creature, which jumps from a small human ship and presses them with an steel rope. While battling people, Jake also visits the kids and convinces them to leave. Some kids locate their adopted human sibling and flee the area in an effort to save their lives. When Jake's son was killed during this, his mother lost control of her emotions and began screaming and sobbing. The colonel has once more captured Jake's two kids, and those people are waiting for Jake to arrive and free them. Seeing this opportunity, we will kill Jake. Jake arrives there invisibly and makes an explosion that spreads fire all around. Additionally, many people are killed. Additionally, his wife permanently kills many people with her arrow and kills a person by displaying angry eyes. She had tears in her eyes because she had recently lost her son. The colonel orders them to lay down their weapons after putting a knife on Jake's daughter's neck out of opportunity. However, just then, Jake's wife arrives and places a knife on the colonel's son's neck. The colonel is forced to leave his daughter after seeing this. The colonel and Jake engage in a hand-to-hand struggle at this point. After much difficulty, Jake finally puts a stop to the cruel colonel by strangling his throat. After that, the colonel begins to sink, but the colonel's son saves him and brings him to the sea. Because when Jake's wife stabbed him, the colonel saved his life. Once the colonel tells him, "Son, come with me," and when he sees this, Jake's family is also very thrilled and still loves him dearly. Then Jake buries his deceased kid in the ocean. At that moment, he was remembering everything from his childhood, including how he had picked up his newborn son when he was alive. Additionally, I'm burying him today by hand. The plot of this movie finishes